What have fast cars, beautiful women and invoices got in common? If they're not handled correctly, you won't get very far. You'll be amazed how many companies do a great job of winning contracts, delivering products, and then really let themselves down when it comes to their invoicing. So here's our top 3 invoice essentials to get you paid first. The first is the devil's in the detail. So let's start with the obvious ones. Your trading name, your business name if it's different, your address, your registered office address, your company number, all the essential information about your company. Now here's a top tip. The best place to start is with your company letterhead. Most of that will already be on there. Next, if you're VAT registered, you clearly must show your VAT registration number on your invoice, but you also must show the VAT rate you're charging as well as the total amount of VAT. Also important is to show the date or the VAT tax point and a unique invoice number. Your invoice must have a very clear description of what you're charging your customer for. And do remember to put interesting references in that will be useful to your customer, like their order number, their part number, things that make it easy for them to identify what your invoice is all about. That way you've got more chance of them paying it. And finally, with the detail, don't forget your payment terms. 30 days or whatever they are. But also think about actually putting the date on the invoice that your invoice is due. So it's very, very clear when they have to pay you. The second top invoice essential is to make it easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's amazing how many invoices we see that don't even have bank details on or other methods that you can pay the invoice. So put it all on there. Any way that you can accept your payment, make it really, really obvious. And here's a top tip. If you change your bank for any reason, don't just rely on it changing on your invoice. Send out a separate letter to all your customers to make sure they're aware. Next, make it clear how your customers can deal with the queries. And pose a time limit, say 14 days, on which they must get back to you with any problems they may have. Make sure your terms and conditions of sale are really clear, but don't just rely on them being on the back of your invoice, because then it's too late, the contract is done. You need to make sure they're much earlier on in the process. And finally, on our top 3 invoice essentials, it's know the process. Take the time and trouble to find out exactly all the detail of how your customer processes your invoice, where it needs to go, who's going to deal with it, what their system is, and then follow it. Large corporates particularly are really bad for this. If you don't follow exactly the way they want you to deal with it, your invoice simply won't get paid. So know their process. If you get all this right, then you'll soon be reaping the rewards of your labours.